There we go. This is take 2. Hello, it's me. Zach, say hi.
Hello.
I tried to do an intro, but my brain just wouldn't let me. So now we're
I hate it
live.
when that happens.
Here we go. We're going. We're in the show. All right. Welcome to the game. Welcome everybody to the Valyrian Steel roundup. Zach, do that air horn noise.
I like how you didn't even need to say air horn noise, and I already knew exactly where you were going.
Zach, I have compiled a list. I have compiled a document of all of the Valyrian Steel, all of the items of significance of Valyrian Steel in A Song of Ice and Fire. And I thought that it would be fun to go through them and put them in these 3 categories to sort of like get a sense of where they might be going. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because they're a real heckin' useful set of things. Oh wait, no, this is the other channel. They're real motherfucking useful things.
Yeah, this is the channel we can swear on.
This is the channel we can swear on. If you're under 18, just didn't have heard that. So I have known, unknown, and gone. Gone does not mean will not appear in the story. Gone just means I have no idea where they are. Those are the fun ones, because those are the ones we get to tinfoil about.
Yes.
So Zach, I got this whole big old list. You wanna start with some of the easy ones?
Okay, Ice is gone and has been turned into 2 other swords. It has been turned into the 2 Lannister swords.
You are correct. Ice is gone. Gone, melted down. There we go. That's a good place to start. Ice, the Valyrian Steel greatsword of House Stark, is dead. It has been melted down by Tywin Lannister and replaced by... Hold the phone here. 2 real obnoxious names. I'm going to be honest with you here. Oathkeeper.
I kind of like Oathkeeper because it's thematically appropriate.
It is, but it's also real pretentious. Then again, everyone who wields it is pretentious too, so that's fine.
Don't we know things about people who name swords?
We do know things about people. Zach, what do we know about people who name swords?
Well, we know that a lot of people name swords, and apparently there's a quality assigned to those people.
Lots of people name swords, Zach.
Lots of people do name swords.
Lots
yeah.
of people name swords. I want some. I suddenly want some chicken. Oh man,
I also want some chicken.
You remember when that show was good? Anyway,
I love that. I occasionally just rewatch that scene.
Me too.
I love the line, "You really gonna die over some chicken?" And it says, Someone is.
So you couldn't hear it, and the audience couldn't hear it because of the delay, but I do want you and the audience to know that I did say someone is in unison with you on my end.
That's great. I don't know if it'll come through like that, but that's perfect.
It's fine. It'll work. We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
Zach,
what was
Zach,
I gonna say?
Where's Oathkeeper?
I think Brienne has it?
Yeah, Oathkeeper is in the Riverlands with Brienne.
I should also, well, before we get completely off that fun sidetrack, at one point, my Steam name, I should say the setup works better this way. I did the setup, the joke first, but my brother joined in. His name was Sandor Clegane's Fried Chicken on Steam, and my name is Gregor Clegane's I Care.
Oh no! Oh, I give that joke 2 thumbs up. It's an old joke, sir, but it checks out.
Oh, okay. We were better jokes than the writers of the last 4 seasons of Game of Thrones.
I don't want it. Zach, what's the other sword?
Here's the second draft of the script with better writing. I don't want it.
I don't want it.
The other one.
This
in
is
the,
the
in
one.
the show.
Oh yeah,
in the show, I think it has a different name, right?
Does it have a different name in the show?
I remember. Joffrey calls it Widow's Wail in the show, but I think it's actually a different name in the books. If I remember
I
correctly.
believe it is Widow's Wail, but entertain the crowd while I fact check because sometimes I'm just wrong.
I want to think it's like Lion's Tooth or something like that, but
Uh,
uh,
hold on, hold the phone
no,
here.
no, maybe wait, hold on. This is the Game of Thrones wiki, not the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yep, I got it. Yep, it is a
It's
red
Widow's
and
Wail.
black long sword wielded by Joffrey Baratheon, kind of. It's decorated. It has a cherry wood and red leather pommel with a lion's head.
Oh, I love this drawing that somebody made on the Wiki of Ice and Fire.
Me too. Everyone should go and support the Wiki of Ice and Fire because it's really good, and I actually wouldn't be able to make these videos without it.
Yeah. Also, I just noticed that when you click on that particular image on the Wiki of Ice and Fire, I don't know if it's true about all of them, but all the font changes to Comic Sans of all things.
Really? That's
Yeah,
incredible.
go click on that specific image.
Hold on, I'm gonna go click on that specific image. I clicked on it. Wow. Wait, no, it didn't. It didn't change to Comic Sans for me. It turned into some looping cursive script.
What?
Yeah, no, dead serious, dude. It is a looping cursive script. Everyone go check.
For me,
Everyone
it's
go
Comic
figure out
Sans.
what's going on with the Wiki of Ice and Fire.
It says a Wiki of Ice and Fire in Comic Sans, which feels incredibly wrong.
No, mine says a Wiki of Ice and Fire. A Wiki of Ice and Fire. File Joshua Kairos Joff Widow's Wail.jpg, all in this
Yeah.
long looping script.
That's so peculiar. I see the same thing, all in Comic Sans.
All right. Okay. All right. We
What a peculiarity.
We will craft a tinfoil theory around the Wiki of Ice and Fire another day. I've been working on one. But for right now, Widow's Wail was wielded by Joffrey, kind of. I don't think he ever actually used it, but it is presumably still in King's Landing because it must have passed to Tommen after Joffrey died. So it's probably somewhere in the Red Keep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That makes most sense to me. I doubt they buried it with Joffrey because it would be a waste. He was, although, however, buried in his golden armor, but golden armor really doesn't have all that much use other than to look like swag.
Hey, I've played Minecraft, and I will dispute this. Sometimes all you have is gold.
Sure, that's true.
So, Zach, what else you got? What are some other Valyrian weapons?
We got Longclaw, which belongs in the possession of Jon Snow.
Yeah, Longclaw.
Although I understand that as far as Valyrian steel swords go, he might not want it.
All right, I'm gonna use this as a stepping stone to a theory that I wanted to talk about. The wall with Jon Snow's corpse. That was the last place we saw it, I believe, was literally the last scene with Jon. He was trying to get it out of its scabbard when he was stabbed to death.
And then he dies. So, are we talking about the Longclaw as Lightbringer theory?
We are not talking about Longclaw as Lightbringer. We can come back to Lightbringer at the end.
That's a good place for it, is at the end, because
Yeah.
we're going to get a lot of good candidates.
You ready for this one? I'm gonna throw a sword in the unknown section. Blackfire.
Good old Blackfire.
Blackfire.
Are you saying that Longclaw and Blackfire might be the same sword?
This is a very common theory. A lot of people, because Blackfire and Longclaw are the only two bastard swords, the only two bastard Valyrian steel swords in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Is Blackfire a bastard sword, or is it just a sword wielded by a bastard, and there's some confusion?
Blackfire is a bastard sword wielded by a bastard. Longclaw is described as having three, I think they're called runnels, the grooves that run the length of the sword, the blood holes. And in one of the official pieces of art, Blackfire is also depicted with 3 of those runnels.
Interesting.
Blackfire is said to be immediately recognizable even in its scabbard. Unless somebody changed the pommel at some point before the start of the series, which, from a storytelling perspective, could have been lampshaded by Jorah Mormont changing the pommel again. I don't buy it. I don't think I buy it. I don't think I buy it.
The thing is, I have a problem with this, and that is, there's one of those wonderful George R. Martin set up minor little things that means a lot more when you look at it on a reread. In I believe in Dance, where Lirio says he's getting a gift for young Griff. Something that he'll need, and that's the perfect setup for he's getting Blackfire, which like you said, this is an old Targaryen sword. This was forged by a Targaryen king and passed down to Targaryen kings, because I believe it had more Targaryen owners than Blackfire owners historically.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was Aegon the Conqueror's sword.
Yeah.
But it also, it's the sword of the Blackfire Pretenders.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole impetus of the rebellion really was, I must be the legitimate heir. I have the Targaryen sword. It was the crux of the argument for Daemon Blackfire to rebel. There are obviously a ton of political considerations in that as well that made the rebellion possible, but that was the piece of evidence that really drew the distinction, and that would be so thematically appropriate for young Griff to be given Blackfire to affirm his Targaryen lineage, but also to basically look at the audience and wink and say, look what I'm doing. Super George R. R. Martin. I feel that's far more likely.
And honestly, does it line up in a thematic way for Jon Snow, the bastard who feels like he's betrayed his half-brother, to inherit the sword of Blackfire, a bastard who betrayed his half-brother? That is thematically appropriate, but is it story appropriate? I don't know. I don't think so. Not unless you want to make the argument that Jon Snow is going to be the king at the end of the story, because if you believe the Bad Dragon show, his name is Aegon, which would make him King Aegon the Sixth.
There's very good reason to believe Jon's name is not Aegon in the books, though. Largely because
that would be stupid.
that'd be like if my younger brother was named Zach. He's not. My younger brother is named Sam.
Because that would
so
be,
my
that
mom
would be
can
dumb,
tell us apart.
Because that's what names are for, Rhaegar.
Yeah.
Dan, Dave. That's what names are for.
Maybe they're just cutting the story down, and there was an additional baby swap, and the baby that was killed was actually Jon Snow, and Ed somehow ended up with Aegon, who, despite having Dornish and Valyrian ancestry, looked exactly like somebody who could pass off as his own bastard.
It looked exactly like Ned Stark.
Genetics are wacky like that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, I don't buy it. I don't like it. I think I like the idea of Aegon the First Blackfire having the Blackfire sword, or indeed Aegon the Sixth Targaryen, if we accept that he's an actual Targaryen. I think either of those is more appropriate than Jon Snow having it. But I wanted to bring it up because it does kind of line up in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Zach. There's not a ton of Valyrian steel swords.
No, there's Dawn. which I think
Ooh,
is a nice one for us to move on to.
Dawn.
Especially 'cause-
I actually wasn't gonna reference it till the end. I was gonna put Dawn in the honorable mentions.
really, I think Dawn needs to be mentioned. It's a strong contender for Lightbringer. Uh, but
Dawn is not. Oh, whoops. Dawn is not Valyrian Steel.
yes, but maybe it's hard to tell. It's from a fallen star.
Yeah.
We don't know, and that's legendary. We don't know for sure what's up with it.
Dawn is described as being pale as milk glass, but otherwise identical to Valyrian Steel in every way. So that makes me think, like, did an ancient dragon like light up a meteorite? Because that'd be pretty flippin' baller. I like that idea.
Yeah.
So Dawn is in the honorable mentions. We'll throw those down here. We'll talk about more of those later. That's a great one to bring up though. Dawn is currently, at least as far as we know, is currently at Starfall, because Dawn doesn't and actually I'll add that here. Dawn can only be wielded by the Sword of the Morning. And the Sword of the Morning is only, like, picked every so often or something. Like, you need to be a very distinguished warrior to be the Sword of the Morning. To my knowledge, no one is currently the Sword of the Morning, so it should be at Starfall, but then we can have an interesting conversation about whether, like, Darkstar took it, or Ned Dane took it, or if it's, like, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Starfall? Starfuck? Starfall. There we go. There it is. Dawn is at Starfall. Dawn is an honorable mention. We know where it is, but we're pretty sure we know where it is anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, what else you got?
Those are the well-known ones.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's other ones I'm not immediately thinking of.
Because
Because I think
there's a dead ass. There's only like 15 Valyrian steel swords that are referenced by name in the entire story.
Let's talk about Gary and Lannister.
Let's talk about Gary and Lannister.
He has, if he's still alive and out there somewhere, a Valyrian steel sword.
Oh yeah. His Valyrian steel sword is called Bright Roar. Bright Roar, there it is. We don't know.
In 2006, it was Bright Roar, but spelled R-A-W-R.
Bright Roar.
Bright Roar.
A close canon companion to hold on, I'll think of something. Neon Catapult, there it is.
Ah, yes. What is Deadman ever Numenune?
There we go. Bright Roar was lost by King Tommen Lannister. Some like 10 years after the Doom of Valyria or something like that.
Yeah.
And he went missing along with his entire fleet. And then in 291, I didn't know it was that recently. In 291, like 6 years before the start of the series, 6 or 7 years, Gary Lannister goes off to try to find it, and he doesn't come back either.
So there might be something fucky going on in Valyria, because we know exactly one person who claims to have come back, who's Euron Greyjoy.
Oh yeah.
And we love any mention of Euron we can get in these videos. So.
Oh yeah, we love Euron. You want to talk about Euron? We can talk about Euron right now.
I mean, there's an argument that Euron has Bright Roar.
Oh, Euron
right?
could totally have Bright Roar. Euron could totally have Bright Roar, Zach. He's the only human being who's ever been to Valyria, and he is like totally freaking decked out in red and black, which are the colors of Bright Roar. I love that. I love that theory. I think it's great, and I think it's totally realistic.
Yeah, and it also means that if, like as is implied in the Bad Dragon TM show,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that Jaime Lannister and Euron Greyjoy will fight a battle, there would be a lot of thematic appropriateness to Jaime Lannister fighting against a symbol of everything that House Lannister stands for.
I'm actually so glad that we're talking about Euron. I would like to note from the get-go, this is not, Zach, a Valyrian sword roundup. This is a Valyrian Steel roundup. So, please enjoy the Crow's armor. Going right down here at the bottom of the known category. This is not an honorable mention. I'm just putting it down here at the bottom. In the, oh god, what was it? In the Winds of Winter chapter with Aeron Greyjoy, Euron stands astride the deck of the Silence in Valyrian Steel full plate.
Which, jeez, that's not easy to come by.
And in this wonderful moment, Aeron thinks, oh dear God, he has been to Valyria. So the Crow's armor is with Euron, and I think it's described as smoky red, which would totally go with Bright Road, by the way. I got another one that is referenced, I think, in literally like 2 lines in the whole series that I'm gonna throw at you. You ready?
Yes.
Please enjoy Red Rain.
Red Rain.
Yes. The sword Red Rain. Let me scroll here a bit.
Is that House Castamere?
It's currently owned by House Drum. Dunstan Drum displayed it at the King's Moot when he put his name forward. He drew it and was like, I got this big sword, you should vote for me. And let me give you a quote here. The Dunstan says, Lord Tarly bears the great sword Heartsbane, forged of Valyrian steel, and he is always in Lord Tyrell's van. And then Victarion replies, let him come. I will take his sword for mine own, as your forebear took Red Rain.
That makes it sound like Red Rain was originally a Castamere.
I think you're absolutely right.
House Rain, Castamere's the city. But, yeah, that seems entirely likely. House Rain had Red Rain, red being one of their colors as well.
I think that's
from what I remember.
I think that's so appropriate because they're the Red Lions, right?
Yeah.
The Red Rain, their name is Rain, and their symbol is the Red Lion. That's exactly what it would be, right? I think that you're absolutely correct. I think that is the ancestral sword of House Castamere.
House Rain, but yeah.
Oh,
the Reigns of Castamere.
I'm sorry. I actually even have written on my sheet the ancestral, probably the ancestral sword of House Castamere.
Yeah. It's easy to get those mixed up.
Yeah. Okay, so that's and we're starting to get into the real niche ones. There's only a few left, but as we get into the real niche ones, whenever you pitch
wait,
one,
I remember the most contentious one. Doesn't the cat's paw that tries to kill Bran have a Valyrian steel dagger?
Oh, for sure.
George R. R. Martin famously writing himself into a corner and having to explain the cat's paw.
Peter's dagger. Would you like to know where Peter's dagger is right now? I had to freaking look it up. I went to the text to look this flippin' thing up.
We know where it is?
We do. We know exactly where it is.
It'd be really funny if Tyrion has it.
If Tyrion doesn't have it, flippin' Peter has it in the Vale. Flippin' Peter has it in the Vale. Peter, there it is.
Peter.
Can you believe, Zach, Peter has it in the Vale, which is like such villainous hubris. to like keep with you. There's a point where he's just casually talking to Sansa and like playing with the dagger.
That sounds about right
It's
for Mr. Baelish.
It's insane. He is one of the few characters in A Song of Ice and Fire who was demonstrably improved by the TV show. In the book, he's just an asshole.
It's amazing how really good of an actor Aidan Gillen is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right. And how none of that translates to his other most famous role, which is the CIA agent in the airplane scene of The Dark Knight Rises.
Is that the one where Bane goes for you?
That is the one where Bane says, "For you."
For
yes.
you. For you.
If I pull that thing off, will you die? It would be extremely painful. You're a big guy. For you.
For you. Oh god, that movie's great.
As much as I like to dunk on the airplane scene, it's still that one scene still has better writing than any episode of the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Zach, I'm glad you referenced Peter's dagger, because of all of the insane things in the world, there's another Valyrian steel blade in the Vale right now.
Does House Aaron have an ancestral blade?
No, House Aaron doesn't. Flippin' House Corbray does.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's usually like one of the lesser houses that tends to have the Valyrian steel sword.
Yeah, just the flippin' weird ones. It is called Lady Forlorn. This is the ancestral sword of House Corbray. It has a heart-shaped ruby in its pommel. And Lynn Corbray uses Lady Forlorn to make threats in Baelish's sort of hostage meeting in the Vale. Because he's taking control of the Eyrie and Robin Arryn, and a bunch of the lords and ladies of the Vale come and like threaten him. They're like, "You need to stop like doing what you're doing and get out of here, you lowborn filth." And Lynn Corbray gets really mad at one of the other lords, draws Lady Forlorn on him and makes threats. That allows Peter to get into a better negotiation position because somebody like threatened to murder him at a peaceable conversation.
Yes.
And it is revealed thereafter that Lynn Corbray did that because Peter Baelish asked him to.
That makes perfect sense. It's exactly the sort of Littlefinger, chaos as a ladder, cause things to go wildly off the rails so people just start like instinctively reacting, and then he's the only one who knows that he stacked the deck so he can play the game the way he intended.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is exactly his MO.
Man, I love these books so much. Yeah, there you go. Lady Forlorn is with Lynn Corbray, which interestingly means that Peter Baelish has 2 Valyrian steel blades right now, functionally. Which is very interesting. I don't know if it's relevant, but it sure is interesting. Alright, Zach, what else you got? There's one more that like we know about.
There were 2 House Targaryen Valyrian swords, right? It wasn't just Blackfire. There was another one.
There were. The other one, I'm gonna put in the unknown section. The other one is Dark Sister. Dark Sister is the other Targaryen is the other Targaryen Valyrian steel sword. And we don't really know what happened to it. However, in a wonderful turn of events in 2018, I think I mentioned this while we were talking about some other stupid nonsense. George Martin said, went on record saying that Dark Sister, which was wielded by Bloodraven, Dark Sister went with Bloodraven to the wall.
Wow, he didn't need to tell us that. Which makes me think that either, like, he was planning on revealing it soon anyways, or it's not as relevant as we'd like to think, because it's not going to be, like, George R. R. Martin doesn't go around the interviews saying what happened at Summerhall, for example.
That's very true.
Because we're going to find that out. But that's interesting, because it implies he might still have it, but it also implies that it might be at the wall otherwise.
Just, like, casually under, like Aemon Targaryen's bed.
Could be, yeah. Aemon having it not impossible.
Yeah.
Like, could have just been passed on to the next available Targaryen when Bloodraven realized he was going to go fuck off and become a tree.
There's also a lot of people who are speculating that Mira will wield Dark Sister.
Interesting.
There's also a lot of people speculating that Mira and Bran will bring Dark Sister back with them, and that Arya will wield Dark Sister.
That kind of makes sense too.
Which I do kind of like, right? I kind of like that.
I do kind of like that theory, yeah.
So that's that one. That's that one. I think I only have one more super weird one. No, I got 3 more super weird ones.
Nice.
And I'm also totally gonna run out of space. But that's fine. We have Nightfall, which is another one that was plundered by the Ironborn. It has a moonstone pommeled hilt, and it is currently owned by House Harlaw, currently wielded by Harris Harlaw. And we also have is that it? No, I got one more. Okay, hold on. Gotta do this. Nightfall. With the Iron Men. And yes, with the Windblown in the unendingly entertaining Marine chapters. Kago, the captain of the Windblown, is described as this, quote, Kago was quick to anger, and that curved black sword of his was as nasty as its owner. There were hundreds of Valyrian longswords in the world, but only a handful of Valyrian Erics.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kago has a Valyrian Eric. So I was about to put it in the known section, but I think I'm actually going to put it in the unknown section here, Zach. Because...
Why is that?
Would you like to know the last time we see Kago Corpse Killer?
When's the last time we see him in that Marine plot that I totally read all the time and super familiar with?
Zach, it's in the one part of the Marine plot. You know, there's the whole Marine plot, but then there's the one part that's interesting. When Quentin the Immortal goes and tries to tame dragons.
Yes, Quentin Martell, who has literally never died and never will, is incapable of death and cures death just by smiling at you. He is a Marine also, very much still alive and performing Lazarus-esque miracles on random passerbys, including just people who have been dead for thousands of years out of the kindness of his heart. Yes, I'm aware.
So one of the people who was there with him, he was behind a mask, but it's described as he was wearing a locust's mask, but Kago's size and the sword he bore could be recognized right away. Kago had his Valyrian Eric on him when they went to try to take the dragons. We don't know.
It'd be like Dwayne The Rock Johnson wearing a mask while wielding like a flying V guitar.
I
that
gotta
he was
tell you
famously
that
associated with.
that is exactly what I'm thinking. When I picture Kago Corpse Killer, it is exactly the Scorpion King.
I like how we both immediately went to that idea, because that's exactly where my brain went.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know whether he was one of the windblown to get flame broiled, because a lot of them did. We don't know if it was him. We know he didn't. We know that the last moment we saw from Quentin's perspective, he didn't appear to be dead yet, but the dragons had to exit through the same hallway that the windblown had to exit. They might.
I think we can guess who won that one.
Yeah. So you ready? You ready for this, Zach? Ready for this?
Yes.
With Quentin?
That's possible.
It sure is possible. I'm not. I haven't added any of these things. Let's give that a 12, and I'll say the wall. The wall. Right there. And then how about one of these? We'll say young. Illyrio? Question mark? There we go. We got some theories. There we go. So I think I have. Yes, I have one more. I have one more good one and then one more weird one, and then we can talk about the real niche stuff. Oh no, I'm sorry, Zach. We forgot an easy one.
We forgot an easy one.
We forgot an easy one, Zach. The ancestral.
That's
sword,
uncharacteristic of us.
The ancestral sword of House Tarly.
Oh, we mentioned it earlier. That's why it feels like it got brought up.
Oh, you're right. It was in that other flippin' quote.
Yeah, that's why we missed it.
16. Heartsbane. And when I started making this list, I thought that Heartsbane was at, oh god, what's the name of their seat? Where the heck do they live? Last Hearth? No. Wherever the heck the Tarleys live.
They live in Hearthstone.
Yes.
Our other sponsor.
Yes, I thought that they lived in Hearthstone TM, but
Hearthstone TM, the only thing worse than a bad dragon in terms of damage it does to your body.
There it is. This sponsored by Bad Dragon Dildos. Heartsbane.
Legitimately sponsor us. Legitimately, what could you possibly lose? We will open with an ad every single time.
Actually, every single day. Oh no, you won't be able to do business with HBO anymore. Oh no, what are you gonna do? Anyway, Heartsbane is not at Randall Tarley's house. Heartsbane is on Randall Tarley's hip. He carries it with him. It is currently, the last time we saw it was at Maidenpool when Brienne was doing her tour of the Riverlands. But the last time we see Randall Tarley was at King's Landing.
Interesting. The joke I had before I went on the other train of jokes was that Heartsbane sounds like anti-Pepto-Bismol. It's what you take when you want to have heartburn, nausea, and indigestion.
I thought they called that tequila.
I was gonna, yeah, that's also a good choice. Yeah.
These are both good jokes. We can accept that these are both good jokes. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go down my list. Ice, Widow's Wail, Oathkeeper, Longclaw, Brightroar, Heartsbane, Red Rain, Nightfall, Peter's Dagger, the Valyrian Steel Eric, Blackfire, Dark Sister, Lady Forlorn, and possibly my favorite. I think this is the last... No, this is the second to last blade, but the last, serious one. This is the sword Lamentation. Lamentation was lost in the during the Dance of the Dragons. It was wielded by, let me see if I have his name here. Led by William Royce of the Kingsguard. He rode across the city as the dragon pit was being stormed. He rode as dramatically, as quickly as he could, but he was accosted, assaulted, dragged from his horse, and killed. And the Valyrian Steel longsword Lamentation was never seen again. It was lost in the riots of King's Landing. So somebody grabbed that.
Somebody took it and has it. It's just out there, presumably somewhere, unless it was melted down or destroyed or lost somewhere.
Who the heck is going to melt down a Valyrian Steel sword? There's only
Tywin Lannister?
There's only like 6 people in the world who can do it. Ice was melted down by like this really specific Cohoric smith who Gendry learned from. By the way, that's probably going to be relevant. His name is Tobo Mott, by the way. So like, what the heck? I don't know. What the heck happened to Lamentation? Somebody just has it. Right, like Bright Roar, it might be gone. Right, we might never see it. Like
maybe Garyon has it. He's a shrouded lord. Maybe Garyon didn't find it and it's still just out there. Maybe Euron found it, but or maybe Garyon has it and he's somebody else or something like that. Or maybe Garyon did find it and then died again and it's lost again. Like there's a ton of different things. Still don't really spell out where it is, but there's a lot of possibilities with that one, and also it's lost in a place it's hard to get to. Nobody goes to Valyria and lives except for Euron, allegedly. But
which I would not have a problem with, by the way, if he showed up with Bright Roar.
Agreed. That's the most fun, I think. But Lamentation, that got lost in Madison Square Garden. That got lost in Central Park. Someone has it.
Yeah, dude. Somebody has it. It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, you don't lose something in the most densely populated city in all of Westeros and not have somebody find it.
Right,
yeah,
dude?
I agree.
It's not like Dark Sister, right? Which puttered off to the wall. This disappeared in the capital.
Yeah.
During a conflict between Targaryens. And we're about to have another conflict between Targaryens. I think that it's going to show back up. It would make sense if
it came back. Yeah, it would make a ton of sense if it came back.
And then finally, I'm going to put this in the Gone section. In Fire and Blood. Hang on, I'm trying to find it here. Scroll. Here we go. In Fire and Blood, during the Regency section after the Dance of the Dragons, there is a section of time called the Secret Siege, where one of the regents is trying to effectively take over, and so the king and his brother lock themselves in Maegor's Holdfast, and close the gates and raise the drawbridge. And one of the king's brother's wife's bodyguards is a person called Sandoc the Shadow. And Sandoc the Shadow is quoted as follows: Sandoc wielded a great curved sword of Valyrian steel with a dragon bone hilt. some people have said that they think that this is the same, that it's actually the same Eric as Kago's, and that's what Sandoc uses. That's what she used. I think that's god awful ridiculous, because one, Fire and Blood is written by maesters. They know what an Eric is. And number two, I looked. Kago's Eric is not described as having a dragonbone hilt, and I feel like that's a notable hilt, considering it's gotta be like one of the most expensive single substances on the planet.
Yeah, dragonbone is not especially common because dragons are not especially common.
Yeah.
And locatable dragon corpses are even less common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So I don't know what's going on with this, but I like it and it's cool. So Zach, those are all of the swords I have.
Okay.
But there's things in the world that aren't swords.
That's true. We talked about the armor.
We did. We talked about
the dagger.
Talked about the dagger. I'll have to start bleeding in down here, but that's fine. What else has Valyrian Steel, Zach?
That's a good question.
Because
those aren't the only weapons. Swords are not the only weapons people fight with. Axes exist. Hammers exist. Other daggers exist. I believe there's more than one Valyrian Steel dagger in existence.
You know what, Zach? I'm gonna give you a ding there. I'm gonna add. Yeah, we're just gonna throw it in right there. It's gonna be the last one. Give me a 16. The Crow's Bounty. This was actually the last thing that I found and added to this list before I went live. Quote. This isn't in the Kingsmoot chapter, and that's why I think it evades a lot of people's notice. It's in the next chapter with Victarion. You ready? Quote. Euron had seduced them with his glib tongue and smiling eye, and bound them to his cause with the plunder of 100 distant lands. Gold and silver, ornate armor, curved swords with gilded pommels, and daggers of Valyrian steel.
Ooh.
Euron Greyjoy has armed the Ironborn with Valyrian steel daggers.
Man, he might actually be useful in the war for the Dawn. It's a shame he's going to be fighting on the other side.
I know, assuming that he is not endeavoring to cause it. Like, he has Valyrian daggers, plural. Presumably that means more than 5, I would imagine. Right? If you show up, the way the Kingsmoot works is you show up with all of your chests full of treasure, you dump them out, and the lords who want to vote for you come and take some of your treasure. In order, you need to, dump out at least a few, right?
Yeah.
4, 6, 10? 10 Valyrian daggers? Enough to make a
sword?
You
can just show up, if you're using these as party favors, you gotta have a bunch.
Yeah. It can't just be the first, 3 schmucks who get up to the pile. I think that's really interesting. Here's another thing and we're going to start adding these to the honorable mentions because they're definitely a little bit weirder at this point. Oh no, we can actually put this over here at the bottom of the unknown section. Give me a 20. Aegon's crown.
Ooh.
The original crown of Aegon the Conqueror was a simple circlet of Valyrian steel with big square rubies set into it. Zach, you want to...
There's rubies again.
I know, dude. There's rubies everywhere. They black and red. Black, silver, and red are just loved by all of this. So Zach, you want to take a guess where Aegon's crown is? Who might have use of a Valyrian steel crown in the near future? It's not with John Con. It's not with them.
What would John Connor Youngriff? It's not at the wall, is it? It can't be. It's got to
It's
be at
not at
King's
the wall,
Landing.
though that would be baller. The last
It's
time we saw Aegon's crown, it was when King Daeron the First left to put down a rebellion in Dorne, and he died.
Ooh.
I think Doran Martell has that crown.
And he's gonna use it to crown the next Aegon.
I think that he has that crown right now.
Oh, that's ingenious.
Oh yeah. I don't know what he's gonna do with it. I am of the opinion that maybe he crowns Sorella Sand. I would be very fond of that.
I your Sorrel theory. I think more likely he gives it to Aegon. But still, there's a lot of possibilities there.
Like, dude, but like, if Doran Martell has that crown, we're gonna have this lengthy discussion about legitimacy, right? If Jon has the name and Aegon has the sword and Sorella has the crown, or maybe even Daenerys. Maybe Daenerys has the crown, right? Because she heard Quentin Martell's pleas to come with her to Dorne. She knows that the Targaryens have friends in Dorne. Maybe she'll go there and get that crown. Maybe she gets the crown of Aegon the Conqueror.
It's possible.
Then, with three people with apparent legitimacy, who do people pick? I think that's a very George Martin-y thing to do. You know, the power resides where people believe it to reside.
Yeah.
Is Jon the rightful king? I mean, sure. But he doesn't have the crown and he doesn't have the sword. What does that make him? Just some guy. I'm going to add in another honorable mention here. We're talking about Euron Greyjoy a lot here, Zach.
That happens a lot in our videos.
We're going to give this an honorable mention. Dragonbinder.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth mentioning.
Dragonbinder is banded in red gold and Valyrian steel. I don't know if that's going to be relevant. I can't imagine that it will be, because it's just like it's already serving like the most interesting purpose it could. You know, those bands of Valyrian Steel are already doing the coolest thing they possibly could do. So I don't know what else they could do. But there it is.
Yeah. It should be included for sure.
All right, Zach, I got one more. On my list. One more that I find most interesting. Of all of these, with the possible exception of Aegon's crown. This is the one that I find most interesting. Think about that for 1 second. While I read a couple of articles, because I think I might have missed 3.
Think about what now? We're giving the prompt again.
There's one more that is not a weapon. One more source of Valyrian steel in Westeros.
One more that's not a weapon.
And I'm just gonna. I guess I'm gonna add these in here because otherwise the nerds are gonna give us crap. Orphan Maker is currently in possession of House Roxton, though we have never met them, and also I don't have space over on the known section.
That's and if we've never met them, we can't say for sure where it is.
Yes.
Just maybe in their household. All the known ones we can give an exact location for.
Yes. We may not know exactly where Euron's ship is, but we know that we know that his armor is going to reappear in the story on him.
Yes.
Truth was a Valyrian steel longsword carried by Moredo Roger, a Lysine noble.
Interesting.
I don't think that that's relevant, but there it is. And finally, oh wait, this one might actually be relevant. Zach, Vigilance is a Valyrian Steel longsword belonging to House Hightower. Ormond Hightower, Lord of the Hightower, wielded the blade during the Dance of the Dragons, in which he fought for King Aegon II. He used it to knight Prince Daeron. Daeron the Daring. He used it to knight Prince Daeron. So presumably this is just at the Hightower. I'm gonna put it in unknown because we haven't seen it or seen anybody with it. Yeah. But we'll put it in here anyway. Vigilance. There it is.
By that definition, Dawn should probably be an unknown, but we have a rough idea where.
Yeah. You're right. But this is Microsoft Paint, and I can't erase it, so it's staying there.
You could move it over, but it's fine. I think that most people will probably agree that Dawn isn't Starfall. It seems like just the most likely.
So this is probably in Old Town. King's Landing. So here, there's a lot of Valyrian Steel with the Ironborn, and a lot in King's Landing, and with Peter, which is weird. And which one is this? Orphan Maker is with House Roxton. There you go. One of you nerds in the comments, tell me where House Roxton's from. All right, Zach, you ready for this? You ready for this last one? You ready for this last one that you are going to love more than any of these other ones?
Okay, give me it.
Okay. And I'm going to make this the biggest honorable mention we can down at the bottom. It's going to spill over into the other one. Star. The Maester's links.
Yes, they have links of Valyrian Steel.
When you learn about the higher mysteries, right? When you become a master of the higher mysteries, you gain a link of Valyrian Steel on your Maester's Chain, which is really cool, I think. There's actually a different medal for each study. Let me see if I can find it down here. Yeah. So it's silver for medicine and gold for economics. But it's not just the individual links that the Maesters have. There's also the ring, rod, and staff of the Archmaesters. The Archmaesters, so for example, the Archmaester of Healing has the ring, rod, and staff of silver, and the Archmaester of Economics has the ring, rod, and staff of gold. The ring, rod, and staff of Valyrian Steel is for the Archmaester of Higher Mysteries. Zach, you want to guess who the Archmaester of Higher Mysteries is?
Is it Marwyn?
Oh, it's my boy. It's Marwyn the Mage.
Good old Marwyn Brightflame.
Marwyn Brightflame currently has possibly the single biggest collection of Valyrian Steel on the continent.
This actually tracks well with my theory that he's gonna, whether it's true or not, try and pose as a Targaryen relative when he goes to visit Daenerys.
Like
if he's covered in Targaryen style swag.
Oh yeah, look at me! I'm covered in Valyrian Steel. Of course I am your friend and cousin. We should get married. And then he gets roasted alive.
Yes, right.
Aren't you a Maester of the Citadel? No. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Zach, there it is. That's all of the Valyrian Steel in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Well, that is all of it that we're aware of.
That we are aware of at present. Let's see. Ones that I am particularly interested in are this one. Hey, you get bigger. Get bigger, you. I'm particularly interested in this one. And this one. And I love this one. I don't think it's... Do you think that those are going to be relevant? I have this image in my head of, like, Sam and Gendry, like, as the White Walkers are pushing north in this, like, full-scale apocalypse... pushing south, rather. They've taken Winterfell, they've taken the Neck, they're pushing into, like, the Riverlands, and Sam and Gendry are at Old Town, like, reforging, like, a new Valyrian Steel sword out of all the Maester's chains.
That potentially would make Sam entirely into Azor Ahai, which I'm fine with. But
Reborn amidst salt and smoke, except it's just fire. Peter has a lot of Valyrian steel. So does King's Landing.
yeah,
That's weird. And I just love Bright Roar. I just love Gary and Lannister. I love everything about him. I just want, like, the Shrouded Lord to just leap out of the shadows and, like, land in front of Tyrion and be like, hey, I'm your uncle, have this sword, and then just leave.
yeah. And I think we talked about all the ones that are super interesting. There's not a lot to go off of with most of these, and the ones that do have interesting theories, we did chat about a little bit. A lot of them are related to young Griff.
Agreed. One final point before we close. I'm doing something here. I am putting a line next to all of the Valyrian steel weapons, which are currently in control of individuals that we could describe as bad guys. Zach, that's a lot.
Randall Tarley not a bad guy?
Oh, yeah.
He's
yeah.
a bad
Oh
dad.
My God, you're right, Randall Tarley is totally a bad guy.
I think the whole point of the book is that the bad guy is hard to define, but people who are bastards, who probably well, not bastards like in the Jon Snow sense, but people who
in the modern traditional sense.
Yes, in the people who are assholes will use these weapons selfishly instead of for the greater good. Yes.
And in the case of Euron Greyjoy, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the ones on this list for the greater bad.
One of which is actually dozens.
Yeah.
Or at least a dozen. Yeah.
Yeah. One of which is actually dozens, and another of which is a set of full plate armor.
Be used for evil. Yep.
Yeah, the greater bad. All right, everybody, that's our show. Zach, thank you very much for doing this Valyrian Steel roundup with me.
I like this a lot, actually. This is a lot of fun doing these little tiny theories instead, little bite-sized bits of information melding with theories. We talked about doing a search for all of Robert Baratheon's bastards. I think that'd be a phenomenal thing to do in this style.
Oh yeah, that's another really
known
good, just like
ones,
this.
Yeah.
Known,
yes, exactly.
Known, unknown, and dead.
Yes.
The search for the Baratheons. Oh, that's pretty good.
So the search for Robert's bastards, yeah, that'd be a good video. Yeah. I like that idea.
We'll do that next time. Are we supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe right now?
You should like, comment, subscribe, and check out today's sponsor, Bad Dragon.
You should. Today's product recommendation is the Blackfire. It's he who bore the sword, but the he is you.
You can use the promo code for Bad Dragon, Bright Roar, BRIGHTROAR,
For 69% off.
For 69% off. Yes.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.